Hey everyone, it's Erin Floto here, and I am here setting up for my September plan with me, which is something that, this is something that I've never done before. I'm doing a lot of like scrapbook style, and I'm really excited to show it to you. I'm working in my Archer and Olive A5 blackout journal, and I don't want to delay anymore, so let's just get on into it. I'm so pumped. Okay, like I said, we're doing scrapbooking basically for the month of September. So you can see a lot of the materials that I picked up from Michael's to do this theme, which I'm really excited about. I am doing a mountain scrapbooking theme. I'm also incorporating some different like hiking elements and things like that. I have a bunch of paint, I have stamps. These are all things that I've never really done in my bullet journal before, so I'm really excited to do that for the month of September because I figured why not? Bullet journaling is really hard for me right now, given the pandemic, and I just thought why not make it a little bit better with some scrapbook style. So we're going to go ahead and get on into it. I picked a lot of these wood grains from the craft paper section in Michael's, and I'm super excited about this. So as you can see, I was kind of all over the place. That's because I haven't scrapbooked in a really long time. I used to do it quite often when I was like in high school. My mom and I would do a lot of scrapbooking stuff, and even then she was like, "You were so much more crafty than me." But I guess that's how I kind of got into bullet journaling as well. So I end up being really happy with how this whole situation turns out. I think because I use so many different like textures and styles and patterns and everything like that, I think it actually works out pretty well that there's just so much going on, and a lot of, because your eye gets drawn so many different places. So I end up being really happy with how this turned out. So I am using a chalk marker from Versachalk. This is something that I figured out late, like in December of last year, when I like kind of figured out what I was doing in my blackout journal, in the last month, no big deal. But I realized that these Versachalk markers are so like vibrant. There's a little bit of a learning curve for them because if you are writing on the other side of the paper, some of the metallic and chalkiness of it will go on the other page. But overall, I've kind of figured out how to combat that. So it takes a little bit of trial and error, but overall, the look is really something that I love. So I definitely wanted to make sure I used it with this theme. So this next page is a tracker page. I have decided that because of the pandemic and just my inability to use my bullet journal for anything more than to-do lists, I needed to do a different setup for trackers. It just absolutely was not working for habit trackers. I was just kind of all over the place. I'm just putting down these trees, by the way, as kind of like those are near to you and you can see kind of like the mountains in the distance. So, and then I put 31 days and realized that there are not 31 days in the month of September. No big deal. But I decided that I needed something different. So this page in particular is to reflect that because I'm not tracking any types of habits this month. I just can't. The world is crazy and I just can't think about trackers right now. I'm not in a mental state to be able to do that. So I decided that I still wanted to track some things. So I'm tracking my mood, my productivity, and my self-care. So each of these sections is 5 sections tall. And so basically, the higher it is, the better my mood, the better my productivity, the more self-care I'm doing in that particular day. And then the lower, obviously, is bad moods or not productive at all, aka can't get out of bed, or I didn't practice enough self-care. So the self-care is going to be kind of interesting because that's going to be based on like a very figurative, like how I'm feeling about the self-care that I'm giving to myself. So I'm not sure how that's going to end up working out, but I definitely wanted one more section and I wanted to make sure I was doing as much self-care as possible, even if it's just little things like, I don't know, eating Sour Patch Kids, like doing something for myself that makes me feel better. And then I'm doing this tree as kind of a callback to my September theme 2 years ago. I think 2 years ago. It could be 3 at this point, who knows. But I just did that tree as kind of a little bit of a callback. I decided to incorporate a quote page. This is something that this whole situation is very new for me. So I decided to do a quote page and a memories page side by side, and you'll see that in a second. But I wanted to incorporate a lot of hiking. My husband and I love hiking, and it really takes me into a different world. I am an environmental scientist. I love being in nature, and now that things are kind of, I won't say back to normal, they definitely aren't, but they're, in where I am, things are a lot more open and a lot of people are still going outside. The weather's starting to get nice. So I really wanted to incorporate this person hiking because it's something that my husband and I have been trying to do a lot of, because we were away from nature for so long. Well, I was at least quarantined. He was working all the time. So we've been trying to do that a lot lately. So I really like how this dude ended up turning out. It's just a person with a hat on and a backpack, and I use the quote, "You'll never know until you go." And basically what's happening is, like, this person is going down a path, and like the idea is that like the mountain is on either side of him. So that's what I was trying to get out of this whole like wood on either side thing. I'm not sure if I really achieved that, the look that I was going for, but that's kind of what I was going for. And then on the page next to it, I just create some boxes where I can doodle some memories. Doodling is something that I have been doing quite a bit of, mostly related to my business, but I really want to doodle some more things. Like this person hiking is something I never would have done before, but I'm really glad I did it because I think it brings a lot to the page. Okay, so this last spread is where I think I lost my mind a little bit, and I talk about this in the closing remarks if you are interested in watching that. But overall, I really need something new, and habit tracking and things like that, I just can't do right now. So I thought that doing this like September journaling page might work out a little bit better, where I have one page to say this month all of this happened, or this month I felt this way, whatever. I just thought it would be nice to have some sort of journaling incorporated into my bullet journal. And I figured if I'm trying a whole bunch of new stuff with all of these different textures and different scrapbooking style things, that I might as well try something new to help me in my current mental state. So I thought that a journaling page would be really good for that. So I have a section to say this month I feel blank, or this is how this month went, blah, blah, blah. And then next to it, I didn't feel like I needed 2 pages to do a journaling spread, so I incorporated my master task list. Even though I think it's not super necessary, the thing that I use the most on that page is the business task list. And ever since I did the business TN, I don't really feel like I need this task list as much, since that was the main reason I was using it. So I don't know. I incorporated it just because it's at least something comfortable, something that I do a lot. So I just put on some headers, and I don't know. I hope you all like it. And here is the final flip through. I'm really excited about this. I didn't know how this would turn out. I've never done anything like this before. I've never done stamping like this before. I've never done any sort of scrapbook style before. And I'm really happy with how it turned out. It's just a lot of fun. Mountains are one of my favorite things in the world. Hiking is another of one of my favorite things in the world. And my patrons, thank goodness they chose this, because I was very, very inspired by all these different wood grains and these browns and greens. So instead of doing my normal trackers, I'm trying to give myself a little bit of leeway, and I just have this line graph this month where the top is a better mood or higher productivity or more self-care, and towards the bottom is less. So it's on a 1 to 5 scale. So I'm really excited about how simple I'm going for this sheet. And then I included a quote, and this is kind of like a hiker going off into somewhere. It says, "You'll never know until you go." And I just thought that that was, I don't know, kind of fitting for all of the times. We don't really know what lies ahead. We just have to kind of go and truck through it. So I thought that was a pretty fitting quote. I just found it on Google. There was no like person's name associated with it. I also, because I'm kind of sidestepping from the trackers right now, I created a memories page where I can do some little doodles to keep track of my memories for this month. I'm not really sure how I feel about this whole page, but I realized that I forgot to use the vellum, so I decided to come up with this on a whim, and I have a journaling page where at the end of the month, I can go through and say, this month, blank, blank, blank happened, I felt this way, blah, 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 just some kind of self-care elements in this journaling section. And then I wasn't going to include a master task list, but I decided to do it anyways. So I have my normal situation for home, work, and business where I can put tasks. The business ones, I have a new business TN, so I'm not sure if I like super needed this section, which is why I was like kind of on the edge including it. But oh no. Oops. But that's what happened. So I hope you all enjoy this setup. It's something very, very different for me. I had a lot of fun doing it. Bullet journaling has been hard lately. Being productive has been hard lately. So I'm trying to incorporate a little bit more self-care into my bullet journaling and less trackers and things like that, just to help me with my mental health. So that's what I got for you all today. I hope you enjoy this video. Please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, all that kind of jazz. I will see you next time. Bye, everyone.